Good morning and welcome to Iowa Central Field at Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, Iowa, home of the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. I'm John Schaefer, along with Zarin IGHSAU. I'm going to get it right away here. Sorry about that, Zarin. But in a moment, we got the 5-4 matchup here in 4A. Number 5 ADM taking on the number 4 DCG Mustangs. And Zarin, this one's setting up, in my opinion, your opinion as well, to be a really good opener here on the Iowa Central Field.
Yeah, in conversating with some people that are a lot smarter about the game of softball here in the high school area, everybody really expects this one to be a back and forth game and a really, really good game here. You look at the numbers 5 versus 4, and you're like, oh yeah, sometimes there's not as good 5-4 games, but this one I really feel like is setting up to be a really good one.
And you look at the pitching matchup, that's where it's got to start for both these teams. Lauren Hagedorn for ADM this year, a .092 ERA, second best in Class 4A, 98 strikeouts this season. And it all starts with her, and she's not only good in the circle, but she's also the team's best hitter as well. Leads the team with RBIs, 41 to be exact, 8 home runs as well.
Yeah, and she has experience, playing here at the state tournament, playing in these type of games, playing in bigger games than this, and I think that's where she's really going to excel this morning.
And of course, you mentioned it. This ADM team was runner-up in 2024, lost to Carlisle 7-6. Meanwhile, this DCG squad's a young team, but sometimes that can pay dividends when you don't really know what to expect.
They had a lot of seniors on the team last year, and so new coach and new just a lot of things going on for them. But hey, they got back here and they're ready to make a run.
Well, we're looking forward to getting the first pitch underway. We'll get starting lineups to you here in just a moment. You're enjoying the 2025 Girls State Softball Championship, brought to you by the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud supporters of the IGHSAU, the Iowa Farm Bureau is committed to championing the talent, determination, and potential of our young athletes and the future of Iowa. We'll be right back with some softball action. You're watching the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
It's Frank. Frank. Mr. Frank. I just want you to know, I think you're the best ever.
In your neighborhood, there's a place so good. It's so nice to be at a store meant for me. The feeling of family, you have to agree.
Wow, thanks, Fairway Frank.
Welcome to Fairway, your Fairway family.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, President of the Iowa Farm Bureau.
And I'm Erin Gerlich, Executive Director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We'd like to thank you for joining us for the Girls State Softball Tournament.
The Iowa Farm Bureau knows that strong, vibrant schools are the cornerstone of our communities. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and this amazing state tournament. This tournament not only showcases Iowa's elite teams, but the athletes competing here today are among our nation's best and brightest. And Iowa's farmers are among the nation's most productive. Our partnership with the Girls Union gives us the opportunity to recognize both, all while supporting and lifting up the Iowa girl.
With the help of the Iowa Farm Bureau, we celebrate students' efforts not only on the field, but in the classroom as well. The Iowa Farm Bureau is committed to your success and supports our organization and the Iowa Girl. Through millions of dollars they provide in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence.
As Iowans, we have a lot to be proud of. Whether you're a student competing here today or a fan tuning in, we all play an important role in making our state great. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau
and the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union,
congratulations to your school on a terrific season and good luck in the tournament games.
We're back here at Iowa Central Field, getting you through introductions. Here's DCG. So here we are. Let's run through ADM's starting lineup really quick. Elliot Von Roden will lead things off for the Tigers. Lauren Hagedorn, the pitcher, star pitcher for ADM, will bat second. Kinsey Maxwell batting third. Maddie James in the 4 spot. Kennedy Stanford in the 5 hole. McKenna Pitlick, she will play first base tonight. She's batting 6th. Aubrey Noring batting 7th. Ellis Smith batting 8th. Anderson Talari batting 9th. And Lauren Traster is your 9 spot and flex player tonight. She will be out in right field. So we're getting things ready. And I do have to mention, too, Zarin, that, you look at this DCG team and they've got some big hitters themselves. A lot of sophomores in this lineup. We talked about that. But Jenna Gray, 17 home runs, is second best in all of the state, or 5th best across all state, and I believe 2nd best in Class 4A.
And such a solid hitter. And what's great about Jenna is, the family. A lot of people know the family ties and how well that family that hits baseballs and softball so well. Obviously her brother's such a good baseball player, and it's always nice to have, whether it's baseball and softball, maybe you combine them. It's nice to have somebody you can go to the cages with, somebody that you can hit with, and somebody that you can, bounce things off of, because yes, sometimes hitting softball and baseball is different, but your swing techniques, some of them, a lot of that stuff is transferable between baseball and softball.
Absolutely. Well, we're in for a good one. Again, John Schaefer, Zarin Agastall along with us today on the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Network, and the first pitch is out of the hand and in for ball 1.
You see the defense playing up, obviously, with the slap to lead things off here for ADM. See if she can find a gap and put it past one of them.
Von Roden lays off of it for ball 2, and you can hear the ADM student section making the hour-and-a-half trek north here to Fort Dodge from Adel, and they've shown up with some student section strength tonight. That one fouled back to the mesh in front of us, and we got a little hole above us. We better be on our toes a bit here.
Yes, no doubt about that. What's fun about these two teams too is they're so close together. They're just outside the metro, but you don't see them play against each other all too often.
That's right. Their last meeting came in 2023, believe it or not, and that was in the regional final. ADM won that game 3-1. Since then, they haven't played, and they're stone's throw from one another in the metro area.
And that was a big thing for DCG getting back to the state tournament last year. I know that 2023 was a little disappointing.
As Von Roden lays off that rise ball nicely, and that fills up the count. And we're already getting some work in the circle here from Hagedorn. I'm sorry. That's flared up to the right. It's our left side. Tessa Jones in the circle for DCG. Jones, 31 RBIs, but mix in a 4.11 ERA, 6th best in Class 4A this year. And she's no slouch in the circle either. She's still got this a full count. That one up off the hands and fouled back once again. Von Roden kind of wishing she could have kept the hands back a little bit there.
Just a freshman here for ADM. And obviously being that leadoff hitter at the state tournament, you really want to get on base, start your team off on the right foot.
That one flared, nearly stabbed at, and Von Roden is on with a hard hit. I'm going to call it a single. That ball was getting through quickly. We'll see how they score it. But she is on base, clutch leadoff spot for the freshman.
And you saw her immediately get to first base, look at her dugout, and, it's all about energy. Softball is a little bit different because sometimes you have tournaments where you're playing early in the morning. A lot of these girls played club softball. You played early morning games, but you're not used to playing a competitive high school softball game at 10:30 in the morning. So that energy level is going to be key for both of these two teams.
Absolutely. Jones will have to settle things down in the circle a bit, as that'll bring up Lauren Hagedorn. And as we mentioned, her accolades in the circle are just as impressive in the batter's box. 41 RBIs, 8 home runs this season, sits with an 0-1 count. Leaves that one up in the zone, 1-1. Hagedorn this season batting .370. .484 on-base percentage. He's also had 20 walks this year as Jones delivers the 1-1. That'll stay up in the zone.
A little bit of a different look here for Jones as well. Leadoff hitter was slapping from the left side. Now you got a right-handed batter who's looking to do something with it.
There's one spot I probably wouldn't want to be at hot corner at third base right now. 2-1 from Jones. That'll paint a corner for strike 2. That's a great spot. A little bit down. That's one of those where Hagedorn would have to go reach for it and probably put it into the dirt. Two on the way. Changeup stays up. Another full count. A lot of pitches in the first 2 at-bats here for Jones.
You know, and we've got a great angle from here. It is so hard to pick up off of the hands, you know, from a hitter. Obviously, they're a little bit closer than we are, but we're right at eye level of the catcher. It's just so hard to pick it up out of the hands of what pitch is actually coming.
Hagedorn fouls that one back. You're right, and, you know, speaking of pitchers, DCG's had some great ones over the years. You look at the Lowry sisters and obviously Paige, the prolific college career. And DCG just continues to pump out great pitching prospects. Full count, payoff. That's popped straight up into the air. Camping out under it at second base and handled nicely by Kaylee Montag. And that's out number 1 for DCG. That's
exactly what Jones was trying to do with that pitch. Put it in a spot where it couldn't be drove anywhere, looking for that pop-up. Just got underneath it, and that's exactly what Jones does with that spin on the softball.
Kinsey Maxwell now up. Maxwell this season, she takes strike 1, batting .486. 32 ribs, 4 home runs, 11 doubles this year, and again, a great spot for her in the 3-hole. Rise ball stays a little high in the zone. 1-1 count to Maxwell. Just the plethora of pitches. I mean, obviously baseball you get a handful, but the variation in pitches so tough because that's fouled back when you look at high-quality varsity softball.
Yeah, and she moves the softball all over the zone really well, too. I mean, it's she's putting them down, she's putting them up, putting them on the corners of the plates. She's moving the softball really well right now.
That'll one hop into the dirt. Nice job to keep it in front of her by Lidden.
And there's a runner on base. I mean, just haven't had a whole lot of hard contact yet either. Either that pop fly, even that base hit was just off the bat of that slap there at second base. So.
And there's our first strikeout of the night as Maxwell swings at the rise there, out number 2. Big cut by Maxwell, but Jones' rise ball just right about belt and then lifted it to the chest, and Maxwell couldn't catch up to it.
Nearing 200 strikeouts this season for Jones. That was number 188 this year.
That ball fouled off down third baseline by Maddie James for strike number 1.
And what's a pitcher's dream, too, is she put her team here at the state tournament with a strikeout in their regional final against Creston. There was a runner on third base and caught a batter looking for the final out of the game. I mean, as a pitcher, you can, I mean, it's fun to see your defense make plays, but as a pitcher, I mean, striking out a batter to send your team to state, I mean, that's about as cool as it gets.
Absolutely. And these state scenarios, I know DCG obviously has had their history here, but you also look at girls basketball. Jones was on that team as well that made it to the state semis, 2A state soccer champions as well at DCG. They have high standards as the old ones on the way from Jones. That'll stay outside, but DCG just continuing to evolve in the 4A world.
Yeah. Yeah, and you talk about the softball. I mean, they had what a run they had through the 2010s, winning 3 state championships in a row, and they had a 5-year run that was some of the best historical runs in high school softball, finishing 3rd, runner-up, and then won 3 championships in a row.
It was a great run as the changeup will stay down and away. Brings that to 2-2 count against James. And the 2-2. Rise ball up. Another full count. Third batter. I got to say, ADM's been patient at the plate. They've battled a little bit, and they're making Jones work for everything here. And there's a strikeout looking. Jones gives up one hit, one left on base, but no damage done as the Tigers will take the field. DCG will come in to bat, and we'll be right back on the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
We're back, scoreless through the first half inning of this game here so far. DCG due up, and they'll lead off with Delaney Fetters, the right fielder. And this season, Fetters has really been solid. 407 batting average, 20 RBIs, 38 singles this year as well.
Yeah, let's take a look at Lauren Hagedorn as well in the circle. 25 games played, 14 starts this year, 7-1 record, 68 innings pitched. 162 average and 0.92 ERA for Hagedorn.
She leads off with a strike there to Fetters. Out fast. Hagedorn brings heat again. State tournament pedigree. As that one's fouled off. 4 strike 2.
98 strikeouts for her this year. She's walked just 10 batters this season. And the one thing that jumps off the page to me, 9 earned runs.
It's a wild stat as she delivers the 0-2, and that one's fouled back once again. And I think the other aspect to all this, too, is remember, she's still got to be fueled by how that game finished last year. Carlisle with the 7th inning game-winning run, and you can't tell me that doesn't sit in the back of a head as you go into a junior season. Strike 3 by Hagedorn. And there's out number 1.
You know, and the biggest thing I think what's been useful and nice for Hagedorn this year as well is she's had the sophomore, McKenna Pitlick, who's at first base, who's really been able to kind of split a lot of the games with her this year. Yep. So, they're not relying 100% on Hagedorn. Pitlick will get in there and will take some of those innings. And, for a softball pitcher, you can go a lot more innings, obviously a lot more natural with the arm, but it is kind of nice just to not have the entire weight of it on your
Get
back.
some rest in there, absolutely. And this is the matchup that I kind of circled when you look at Hagedorn versus Jenna Gray. Gray, one of the best bats in all of the state this season, and she's going to be a patient batter too as she took ball 2 there, but this is the matchup that I think can really tell us which way this game could go tonight. The 2-0, right down the heart of the plate for strike 1. Gray, the first baseman this season, batting .475, 52 RBIs, 17 home runs. No one aboard, 2-1 count. That's flared out into left, going deep back to the fence and gone out of here. Jenna Gray sends the moonshot out to left.
And she does it so naturally. When she's swinging that bat, it doesn't look like she's swinging for the fences. She just does it. She has so much natural power and just flare that. I mean, that would have been gone from 210 probably.
She's a lefty, and that thing went well out opposite field, and she connected on all of it, and there is your first run of the night. DCG strikes first. And that's one of those where that's just good pitcher against good batter, a little bit of speed on that ball, and it, like you said, it carries out pretty naturally in today's world.
The old adage, the harder it comes in, the harder it goes out, and as long as you put a good swing on it, and that's exactly what Gray did there. And, when you watch that one again, go back and watch Jenna Gray swing. She's not up there swinging with all of her might. She just is very fundamentally sound and able to drive it out.
Gets the hands through nicely, and that'll bring up Addie Abens in the 3 spot. Center fielder this season, 407 BA, 47 ribs, 13 home runs. Again, Abens this season just a sophomore. Jenna Gray, just a sophomore. That's a scary thought when you've got a sophomore hitting 17, now 18 bombs in a year. That shot to second, handled with ease and thrown across in time for out number 1, as Von Roden makes that play look quite simple.
Yeah, and for Von Roden, we talked about it when she was at the plate. You know, just a freshman there at second base, and she looks so natural with that cleanup there and fire to first base. I mean, it doesn't look nervous. Looks like she's handling this moment really well.
Gail Montag up, and she'll leave that down.
And that's what you know, club softball will do. There's so much talented club softball here in the state of Iowa, and this has got to be just another game for whether they're freshmen or seniors. Just so natural.
And that'll stay down absolutely. And seems they start them younger and younger every year, but that's not always a bad thing. As I'm a big multi-sport believer, and you see a lot of that amongst these 4A schools still, where these kids are able to play multiple sports. As we got a 2-0 on the way. That's going to stay inside for ball 3.
Another thing for Hagedorn there too, coming back and getting a ground ball out right after the home run. You know, it's one of those things that as a pitcher you just kind of got to shake off. And hey, it's 1 run. I mean, your team has got, you know, 6 more innings to score a lot of runs, and so, you know, it's 1 run.
Yep.
It's good for DCG, but it's not something that's catastrophic for ADM.
Absolutely. Well, and you can't win without a run in that mindset. You've got a good pitcher on your side of things. Things will settle down. You know how to get the bats going, and so I think that's got to be the mindset as we move forward, as that ball's lifted up and out of play for strike number 2 to Montag. Got a full count. Montag this season, .390 batting average. Started in all 39 games she's played in this year. And here's the payoff. Grounded right back and thrown over by Hagedorn, and that's out number 3, but not before the first blemish on the scoreboard for ADM. It was a bomb from Jenna Gray. 1 hit, 1 run, none left on base. It's 1-0 DCG as we go to the top of 2 here on the Girls Union Network.
Different people have different needs, so Delta Dental of Iowa has affordable dental and vision coverage that meets you where you are. Small business on a budget? We have options with no employer costs. Traditional Medicare plans don't cover dental, but we do. And if you can't get benefits at work, you can buy direct from us. Plus, we give back to local communities, so you help make an impact. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, for your community.
The designated player, Kennedy Stanford, will lead things off for ADM here in the top of the 2nd on Iowa Central Field. Again, watching the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. And it's been a fun start to this one. And Kennedy Stanford, the designated player in this spot, going to try and get some momentum going back the Tigers' way.
Yeah, let's see if ADM can find a way to get some runners on base. That's, you know, that's one of those things that for ADM has got to be their mindset now, is just, you know, station to station. Let's get somebody on first, and after that, let's get somebody on second and start to move them around.
Stanford this season, a .318 batting average, takes strike 1. Tessa Jones been sharp, but she's thrown a lot of pitches through just an inning. Went full counts with 3 of the 4 batters she faced an inning ago, and she delivers the 0-1. A big swing and a miss by Stanford for strike 2. And Jones now working out in front. Jones steps, fires, and strike 3 to Stanford as she just snuck under it for out number 1.
and you guys probably saw on the bottom of your screen, bottom corner of your screen, what a lot of really good teams will do is Stanford there immediately goes over a quick conversation with Pitlick as she comes to the plate. Hey, what did you see up there? Hey, she's doing this. Maybe something she saw at the plate to try to help her teammates out.
She'll leave that one down and away. Does McKenna Pitlick, the first baseman for this Tigers team. Pitlick this year, 277. Batting average as Jones delivers. That's going to be muscled out to left. The flare will put Pitlick on first. She muscled that one just over short, and it fell in for her first hit of the day, second hit of the game for ADM.
Yeah, and Bauman making a good effort at it, but that's just such a tough play as a shortstop when it's right over your head. It's almost like an outfielder play, but you don't have as much time as an outfielder. You got to turn and run with it to your side while you're keeping your eye on it. And so just a really tough play there. Good effort by Bauman, but better piece of hitting.
Third baseman Aubrey Noring now up with Pitlick at first. She'll take that around the kneecaps for strike one. And Noring this season has been hitting quite well, 342. She's a singles type of hitter, 19 singles of her 25 hits this year. The 0-1. That'll paint a corner for strike two.
That was a really good pitch.
Jones just finding that corner nicely and kind of drifts out there just ever so slightly. Sets delivers the 0-2. She tries to dance it a little bit further out there. I like that pitch for an 0-2 count.
Yeah, when you have no balls on you, might as well put one off the corner, see if you can get a chase. And if that ball is made contact with it, you're probably just going right at the first baseman with that ball. You're not getting a lot of power on it.
Jones draws a foul ball back from Noring.
That's what those outside pitches will really do to a right-handed hitter when you draw them outside. You're either going to get a swing and a miss, or if there is contact on it, a lot of times it's just going to be a shovel towards the first baseman, maybe to the second baseman, but usually not a lot of hard contact on those balls that drift outside.
Jones will leave that one up in the zone. Good patience by Noring not to go chasing. But that ADM bench is up. Everyone's up on the dugout right now, and there's some definite energy on the Tigers' half of the field right now. The 2-2. Change up. Noring thought about it. Sat back, though. It's that key of that first stride step as a batter.
Good student section as well, standing up on the bleachers and cheering on their fellow schoolmates.
One out, one on. Payoff pitch for the full count. That's popped straight up. Coming in to handle it at shortstop. No problem there at all for Bauman for out number 2.
Yeah, again, just a really good pitch. That was all done there in the circle to get that pop fly up ball that just starts slowly drifting up. And the batter goes to swing at it, thinks it's going to be right in the center of the barrel, but by the time that ball gets to home plate, you're underneath it and you're popping it straight in the air.
Shortstop Ellis Smith now up, going to try and get a 2-out rally going. She fires one out into center. That'll fall in. Pitlick will move across to second. First pitch Smith sees. She jumps on it. Straightaway center.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about before this inning started for ADM. It's not about, hey, we need a home run. We need to match what Jenna Gray did. It's let's go station to station. We don't need a bunch of hard contact. Let's just get some base hits. A couple of base hits here, and ADM's right back on the board, station to station.
Aniston Talari, as Coach Miracle is going to call a timeout here and settle his defense down a bit.
Yeah, good time to talk about it. As I mentioned, before we started this game, a new coach this year for Dallas Center Grimes in Coach Miracle, but not new to the coaching world and not actually new to Dallas Center Grimes either.
Yeah, he's a guy that's been around plenty, and I remember crossing paths with him multiple times while working in the TV side of things, and just a great guy to have as a leader in that dugout for him.
Spent over 2 decades at Johnson, actually started here at DCC. Actually, 25 years ago, he led DCG to their first ever state tournament softball appearance.
It's crazy to see him back, and obviously Johnston misses him a bit, I'm sure, at times, but great time there. He led some great prospects through that Dragons program, and again, the cool hand that you need to really settle things down in a tough spot here with 2 outs. Talari leaves that down and away.
won a couple state titles at Johnston too, and so he has experience here in Fort Dodge and knows what it takes to win at the highest level of high school softball in Class 5A.
Talari lifts it high into left, camping out under it there and handled with no problem at all. Jenna Morrison takes care of the third out. 2 left on base on 2 hits for the Tigers, but no runs to show for it. DCG will try and inflate their lead a bit here in the home half of 2 when we come back on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
To the home half of 2, Dallas Center Grimes leads 1-0 in the 5-4 matchup with the ADM Tigers. You know, I've been up here for many state tournaments, Zarin, and gotta say, I will take this weather 100% of the time.
Yeah,
maybe a little sunshine peeking through, but I will take this right now.
We got to soak it in because it's going to be in the lower to mid 90s the next 2 days with the sun beating down. So I think 83 is supposed to be the high today with cloud cover all day. So yeah, going to feel good out there today, but tomorrow is scheduled to change in a hurry.
Yeah, it is. So embrace it as York gave an offering there on the first pitch she saw from Hagedorn. So strike 1 to her, no 1 count. That's fired well out of play. Genevieve York this season, 437, 35 RBIs, 33 singles this season here in the 5-hole. She leads off the second as the 0-2 just missing outside. It's a great pitch though.
And immediately asking where that pitch was, catcher saying just a little bit high and then verifying that one. So just a bit high on that one.
Home plate umpire Deidre Moore letting her know is up a little bit. That one's fouled in off the hands. Good battle there for York. And that's one of those, you'll take a foul tip anytime there.
Yeah, and Maxwell's so good behind the plate. Even before she asked, Deidre Moore where that pitch was, she immediately told Hagedorn, I think it was a little bit high, and then turned around and asked the umpire, and it was like, yeah, it was a little bit high. So Maxwell's so good at knowing where those pitches are, and that's such a big help for a pitcher when you have a catcher that you can bounce things off of and ask where pitches were, and it's a teamwork. Some people don't think of it sometimes like that, but
well, there's strikeout number 2 on the day for Hagedorn, and I think Maxwell did a nice job there framing things up, getting a nice swing, and again, you mentioned it, that cohesion between a pitcher and a catcher is so critical. And both sophomores, they'll both be working together for a long time. Here is out number 1 to York. That brings up Addison Liddon. She's the catcher for this DCG squad as that brings some heat to strike number 1.
Yeah, and that's just, bouncing off of what I was just talking about. I think some people don't attribute that enough to, give maybe catchers their grace in a lot of those things. But when you're talking about a pitcher and a catcher, it's a team. It's teamwork, and you can't have a really good pitcher without a really good catcher.
Liddon, 355 batting average this season. She'll take that down and away. Working with a 1-2 count now. Hagedorn works quickly too. She doesn't take a ton of time to reset in the circle. She knows what she wants. She delivers the 1-2 here. That'll paint a corner and just a hair outside of it for ball 2. It's been a consistent strike zone so far tonight. So we sit 2-2, 1 out. Liddon sits on it, fires it to left, stabbed at beautifully, thrown across. What a handle by Aubrey Noring over there at third. The hot corner.
Yeah, and that was a really good pitch that a really good hitter did a great job of sitting back on. Speaking of catchers, there for DCG. She saw that one the whole way and sat back on it, but and then just did a better play at third base.
Noring keeping that glove hot over there is 2 outs now for Hagedorn, and she gets a big cut from Jones. It's mano-y-mano, pitcher versus pitcher right now. Jones this season, 31 ribs. Again, it seems like the pitchers in this class can certainly do it all. There's strike 2 on the corner as well. Jones will remember that when she steps into the circle too.
Yeah, I think also for a pitcher, it's maybe a little bit easier for them to pick up a pitch that's coming.
It's a good battle back there. Jones trying to protect that low half of the zone after a couple of pitches down there.
They see it come out of their hands, when they're pitching, and so they know what to look for. Ways that pitchers try to hide that pitch coming in until the very last second, and good at spotting that.
Hagedorn, the 0-2, jams her, popped up, no problem at all. Route number 3, Ellis Smith will bring it in, and no hits, no runs, none left on base. We'll head to the top of 3. ADM due up with the top of the order in Von Roden.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, an Iowa farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud title sponsor of the state softball tournament, the Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to creating a vibrant future for Iowa through partnerships and programs that help cultivate individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. Making it to the state tournament is a great accomplishment that takes a lot of support. That's why we provide millions of dollars in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence. The well-being of Iowa students is also very important to Farm Bureau. That's why we provide concussion insurance coverage at no cost for all students in grades 9 through 12 who participate in a sanctioned sport. As just one of only 7 states to provide this coverage, it's just another way we're striving to support Iowa's outstanding young leaders. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau, congratulations to all the players and coaches on an outstanding season, and good luck in the tournament.
We're back here at Iowa Central Field, DCG and ADM in a tight battle in the top of the 3rd. It's 1-0 Mustangs leading the Tigers. Elliot Von Roden due up after a leadoff single in the 1st. Slap hitter will lay off that. Now that Jones has been through the lineup one time, what do you any adjustments you need to make, or you just keep rolling it up?
I think that's one of those things that, as the team pair there of pitcher and catcher, you're taking those mental notes. Of course, you have coaches in the dugout, and you just, what batters are looking for. Did she chase a pitch outside the last time? Did she go after this pitch? Did she see this pitch really well? Even on those foul balls, as a pitcher, you're like, okay, she saw that really well. She just was either a little bit fast or a little bit slow in getting to it. So, maybe we go with a different pitch and a different count, those types of things.
2-1 count for Jones to Von Roden. That's fouled back. Strike 2. Again, Von Roden 1 for 1 today.
They did score that earlier, Von Roden at bat as a hit, as we assume they would.
She lays off the changeup. Yeah, that ball was well struck to second, and that's a tough play for any second baseman to make. It was a good effort, just off the thigh, and she was aboard. Full count. Another full count here for Von Roden. She'll flare one straight at that DCG dugout. On your toes.
That's why we got the fences there.
And for good reason.
Yes.
Again, great turnout of fans here in Fort Dodge today. Always fun to get up here to the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. The payoff, once again, dropped in foul.
Also, it's kind of a cool addition there with the center field logo.
Yeah.
The grounds crew, of course, we talk about that each and every single year, but they do so good. It's like a well-oiled machine going back and forth between field to field, and having that IGHSAU logo in center field, that's a really cool thing.
And you know it's inevitable. Speaking of grounds crew, at some point it will rain in Fort Dodge during softball week, and they always do such a great job keeping the grounds playable. There's no outs to pay off once again. That's flared to center, lifted high, backing up just a bit, but not much more was Abens for out number 1. As a slap hitter, your goal is to kind of drive through it and talk about spin a lot with Hagedorn, but Jones incites a little bit of spin to hers as well. Hagedorn, speaking of which, up to bat here. Second meeting of the Mines. Jones with the changeup. That'll stay up.
We talk about pitchers picking up pitches. One thing for Hagedorn at the plate this year, she's taken 20 walks, which is a team high for ADM, and just sees those pitches really, really well.
That one fired to the on-deck circle. Maxwell on her toes.
When she goes to the plate, she doesn't have to, hit the ball. Is right. We're just trying to get on base, and so we want to hit the ball, right? All of us that have been baseball and softball players, when you go to the plate, like the only thing you want to do is get a hit, but it's so important to get on base.
1-1 count from Jones. Rise ball up, stays there. Hagedorn, as you mentioned, patient at the plate. A base runner is just as valuable in a lot of situations. Obviously, you'll take either or, but any way on is a good way on. The 2-1. Jones delivers. Hagedorn sits on it. That paints a corner for strike 2.
And now she's got to protect the plate. She's kind of let some of those drifting outside pitches that are on the corner go in this at-bat, and also in her first at-bat as well. But now, got to protect the plate with 2 strikes.
Change up outside, just a hair low and away.
Yeah.
Full count once again to Hagedorn. Keep in mind, Lauren already committed to Iowa State. Will play for the Cyclones in a couple of seasons. Be interesting to see how she melds into that squad. Full count. Hagedorn pops it up underneath it once again, this time to short, having to drift around just a little bit. Bauman again. But that's out number 2. So a couple pop outs from Hagedorn. That's really good work by Jones.
Yeah, Jones brought that pitch inside. The last pitch she tried to paint the corner on the outside. Then came inside and just jammed Hagedorn there.
Kinsey Maxwell now. 0 for 1 so far. Takes that up and in.
And that's what pitchers can do. That's what good pitchers can do when they have, the hitter with 2 strikes. Knowing the hitter has got to protect the plate. You can bring one inside, and they can't let it go because they don't want it to be called a strike 3 on the inside corner, so they're going to have to swing at it, and you just jam him inside, get that pop out.
Maxwell fouls that straight back. Struck out in her first at bat. Jones with 3 Ks thus far. That'll catch a corner. It's a good spot right there from Jones. Again, you mentioned working inside out, up high and low. Changing those eye levels is so key. 1-2. Rise ball way up there.
Yeah, that was not her intention on that pitch. You could tell from her immediately. I think she was trying to go to the top half of the zone with that one, but not looking to get the batter to chase one, above the eyes.
The 2-2, Maxwell hangs with it, fires it down the first baseline, foul. Yeah, she overcooked it just a little bit, and that'll happen. You get a little bit extra mojo going for the K. Jones would like a new ball. Gets a little scuffed up after some wear and tear in the dirt.
Yeah, that also in that ball, kind of darted down into the grass. And as we mentioned before, it's been kind of a cloudy, not a lot of sun. So I'm guessing there's still some of that dew and moisture on the grass. So
that ball muscled up. Bauman going to get under it again. And that wind playing some tricks. But ADM goes 1, 2, 3, 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, none left on base. DCG due up here in the home half of 3 next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people. who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back, here with you live on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy, as we get ready to get into the home half of the third inning. Again, been a fun start to our day here. Dozens of games going on over the next couple of days. We'll have it all for you here on the Girls Union Network. Again, if you're IGHSAU, proud supporters by Iowa Farm Bureau, as they're committed to championing the talent, determination, and potential of young athletes, the future of Iowa. Thanks again to the Iowa Farm Bureau for presenting the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships. As we get into the third, it's Sophia Baumann, who had a pair of outs on the defensive side an inning ago. That ball stays down in the zone on Baumann. Hagedorn settled down nicely since giving up that home run to Jenna Gray.
Yeah, that was what we saw that immediately, and that's a pitcher that's been in these, as I mentioned before, in these moments, in these types of games. She's not going to let one home run, get to her and allow her to make decisions that she wouldn't normally make in the circle.
Baumann lays off the changeup. 2-1 count. 354 batting average. Also drawn 9 walks, so she's also patient at the plate. 35 hits this season. Out in front of that one. And it's a 2-2 count.
And obviously with all the really good athletes that we see in this game, in the circle, at the plate, we've seen some really big college interest in these girls, and we see them, here watching the game. Seeing the University of Iowa is here, Iowa State has been here, UNI is here, all of the three of the big four D1 universities here in Iowa.
That's fouled back.
Some of these girls are just sophomores, and you've got some freshmen out there that are, making some headwater as well. So it's some really good talent in this game.
And a lot of that talent does like to stay in state. Drake does a wonderful job as well recruiting. That ball's hacked foul once again. I've got to say, I think our state does a great job of just supporting women's sports in general. You look at the growth of women's basketball and how centrally located that's been around the Caitlin Clark effect and Iowa basketball, period. But even before Caitlin, Iowa State women's basketball was highly supported. Drake, you and I, it's the same out here with softball. I love getting my kids over to a Drake softball game when we're around, or even up Dames. That ball fired up the middle, knocked down, throw across, not in time, as Baumann beats it out. But what a play over there at short by Ellis Smith.
Yeah, and great job by Smith. Sometimes just knocking it down. We call that the scramble drill. You're not fielding it cleanly, knock it down, still composing yourself to get up and make a strong throw to first base. Just beat out, but great job at shortstop there by Smith.
They're going to rule that an error. I'm not sure on that one. But official scorekeeper has a little bit more say than I do. As the bunt laid down, throw down in time, and Baumann will advance as Jamison does her job on the sack bunt.
Yeah, I think we're seeing how important runs are going to be in this game. We talked about this is a 1-0 game. We thought coming into this that, 2-3 runs may be all that it's going to take to win this game, and with how good the circle has been. And I think that's what Dallas Center Grimes is doing here, just a little small ball, knowing that, an extra run is huge in this spot.
Delaney Fetters up. She struck out in her first plate appearance back in the first inning. As that mist is a little bit more prominent, you kind of feel it coming through the screen for us. And so be curious to see how the grip on the ball for pitchers goes, even the fielding side of things too. The 0-1 to Fetters. That's off her hands, chopped to third. Fetters can't beat the throw over, but Bauman advances to third, and a runner in scoring position here with Jenna Gray due up.
Yeah, and I think for ADM there, you just got to take the out when you can get it. Take the play over at first base, get an out.
Especially when you already got one down. You just need one more out in this inning. And also may not totally shock me if ADM says maybe put Jenna Gray on, and they do.
Exactly, yeah.
Try and create the force out, and they might even put Addie Abens on base too, just to get the bases loaded.
Then you have a force everywhere.
Right, exactly. Abens, no slouch herself, 47 RBIs and 13 home runs, top 10 in Class 4A in the home runs department. And they want to put her on as well. Maybe not. I'm sorry, I thought I saw our catcher and kind of Maxwell give an angle down to first, but so 2 down. Addie Abens grounded out to second base in her first plate appearance of the day in the first inning.
It's a big spot.
Runners on the corners. Hagedorn delivers low. Gray will take second. So now 2 in scoring position. You got to imagine Gray is going to be running on anything hit decently to the outfield, as Abens lays off that one for ball 2. Abens working with a 2-0 count here. 2 aboard, 2 outs. Hagedorn delivers. That's nubbed right back at Hagedorn, and nonchalantly just picks it out of the air for out number 3. No harm done. 2 left on base, 1 hit, 1 error. No runs to show for it. ADM due up in the top of the 4th here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/WeCare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number.
We're back live. Jones has already delivered 1 pitch to Maddie James, who fouled it back, so we haven't missed much. No 1 count here on Iowa Central Field. Big thank you to Iowa Central for being one of our field sponsors this season. That one's hit hard. Way out in front of it was Maddie James.
Yeah, Maddie James, a very talented hitter here for ADM.
Great change up there from Jones.
Jones is a 5-year letter winner on this team. She's been playing, or James, excuse me, has been a 5-year letter winner on this team, been playing since she was in 8th grade. And this is 5 straight trips to the state tournament for ADM this year, and James has been a part of all of them.
She lifts that one down the line in right. Camping out under it nicely. Getting on her horse and making the play was Fetters. She handles it beautifully out there in right. That would have been a multi-base hit had Fetters not gotten over there in time.
And we go back to what you were talking about before. It is kind of misty. I wouldn't call it a rain, but the clouds that are clouding over above us, do have a little bit of a light mist coming out. The pitchers actually have a little bit more better with it than the fielders do, because they've got the rosin bag with them that they can go to kind of dry up their hands a little bit. The fielders, obviously, that's a ball that's going to be on the dirt, going to get a little wet, going to them, and then they got to fire that ball over the first base or second base when they're fielding that ball. So, and of course, the towel for the pitchers as well to kind of dry the hands off.
Kennedy Stanford up, struck out in her first at-bat in the second inning. Lays off, bit of a screwball there.
You could probably see it, watching with us. She's going to go to it right here. That's just a rosin bag. Some maybe wondering what the little white dot is there in the middle of the circle, and that's just a rosin bag, drying substance.
The 2-1. Lifted back to the netting behind home plate as well. 2-2. Such a grip is everything for these pitchers. You always, now in college especially, they're checking gloves and checking hands as they come off after innings and things like that too. So 2-2 to Stanford. She hangs in there.
Yeah, and a lot of that actually is due to the rosin itself. So, people are always trying to figure out what they can do. But, people have found out that if you take, some sweat and some rosin and kind of mix that sweat and the rosin together and rub it down really good, it actually
gets tackier,
it forms a sticky substance.
Here's another 2-2 on the way. That one lifted high. Bit in no man's land, but really no problem. Is great communication by DCG, and out number 2 to Addie Abens. It's a really nice job by Abens to command center field and call off her second baseman and call off her right fielder.
Yeah, so athletic out there. Long, lengthy, long arms, and she can get to a lot of softballs.
2 outs. The change up in for strike 1 to McKenna Pitlick. Pitlick had a single out to left. Little flare over short. Got a little rally going, but nothing to show for ADM 2 innings ago. That in off the hands. Strike 2.
Yeah, and ADM has been able to get some hard contact over the last couple of innings. Just haven't been able to find areas where there's not a Mustang standing.
0-2. It's a good miss. That's nothing wrong with the throwaway pitch there a little bit, just to see if you can get a chase. Don't be shocked if she comes back in on the hands now. The 1-2. Does just that, fouled back to the netting. I'm assuming a fan made a catch behind above us. So there's some applause from the ADM section.
But yeah, she did exactly what you thought. That's what she's been doing with those. When she gets into those 0-2 counts, she likes to go outside, see if she can get a chase, and immediately come right back inside on the hands.
Change up, down and away. And see, as a batter, now your mindset, you look for those cues, right?
Yeah, and that's what, we see those conversations between batters that, may strike out or may get out. The quick conversation with the on-deck hitter is exactly that.
That'll paint the corner. Strike 3 as Jones gets Pitlick looking. 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, none left on base. DCG due up. It'll be Montag to lead things off here in the bottom of 4 when we come back on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Okay, Montag up next with Genevieve York on deck and Addison Linden in the hole for DCG. And really, low-scoring game, kind of what we expected in this one, even though both teams have big bats. Montag swings and misses. Strike 1 to her.
Yeah, they do. But, what we really talked about coming into this is it's going to be kind of Jones and Hagedorn, and they're just so good at commanding the softball.
It's a little bit outside. It's one of those where I think if Maxwell frames that, might get a little bit more, but that's a missed spot a little bit too from Hagedorn. The 1-1. Off the hands, Hagedorn fields it herself. And there's one away.
Yeah, right out of the circle going after that. Taking control of the infield.
Picks up where she left off in the last inning, too.
Yep. Yeah, what a catch that was. We were talking about that. You guys saw that. It looked like she was, retrieving a softball back from her catcher, but it wasn't. It was hard right off the bat, and it was just so easy for her to reach up and snare that pitch. And her instinct, reflexes, and even come out of the circle to make that catch. You follow through with your pitch, and then immediately you got to get out of the circle, find that ball in the air, and then make the catch. So just so athletic for Hagedorn.
That pitch from Hagedorn was nasty. A little bit of a breaker in there, just kind of cut back in, almost screwball-esque to get the first strike here on York. 1-1. York fires one to second, a little English on it. Throw over, still in time. Great job sticking with it there by Von Roden. That had some nasty English on it.
Yeah, and for Von Roden, I mean, we talked about that with the first ball that was hit to her. Just looked so comfortable. Again, didn't panic. Sometimes some of the younger athletes, when they get into those situations, all of a sudden panic sets in. Okay, I didn't field it cleanly. What do I do now? And for Von Roden, it was just so, looked so natural of, don't panic. I still have time to make this play. If we're at third or short, we're probably not going to be able to make that play. But as a second baseman, such a short throw over there, we can scramble, we can make that play and still find the out.
That ball fired foul, strike two. And don't be fooled, a 1-0 lead for DCG is strictly off of one hit alone. ADM certainly had opportunities themselves offensively, just need to find one across the plate. Hagedorn dealing the 0-2. Just a bit outside. The fans wanted it. Just 2 strikes thus far for Hagedorn. Strikeouts thus far for Hagedorn. Delivers. That's fired out into right. And Roden dives for it. Can't quite make the play. Throw to first, not in time from right field. Liddon struck that hard out into right, and she is aboard with 2 outs.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of hitting. That's exactly what we talked about before on one of those pitches that kind of just starts drifting to the outside. What are we going to do with that as a hitter? We can't let the pitcher kind of dictate everything all the time. So let's drive with that softball, and that's second time through the order now. You're seeing that pitch for a multiple number of times now, and let's just go with it. So the ball is going to go drifting to the left-handed batter's box. We're going to go with it with the bat and try to find that gap between first and second, exactly what she did there.
Paisley Hedricken, the freshman for Dallas Center Grimes, will pinch run here for Liddon, or courtesy run for Liddon. Substitutions in today's game brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at IMTINS.com. Faking the bunt, runner goes. She's in safely at second. Hedricken doesn't hesitate to get moving. Bunt was pulled back, I believe, for ball 1 to Tessa Jones.
That is her 44th stolen base this year.
Strike 2 to Jones. Big cut. I think tells you everything you need to know right there. She's in there a lot, and she's in there for one reason.
Yeah.
That's to run the bases and run them aggressively.
44 of 51 this 44 of 51 this season.
The 0-2, that stays outside the zone. And I'd imagine that those 7 she got thrown out were probably trying to steal third.
Could have been, yeah.
That'd be my bet anyway. She didn't look like there's much chance there, and Maxwell's one of the best catchers here in Class 4A. That on the ground. Throw across with ease. No problem there for The 5-3 put out by Noring, and that's out number 3. 1 hit, 1 left on base, no runs. DCG leads 1-0 as we go to the top of the 5th here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you, and you feel matters. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
Aubrey Noring leads things off after getting the final out of the bottom half of 4th. Noring will take that one in the dirt. This game cruising right along. Jones so far with 4 strikeouts on the day. Has a 1-0 count, delivers Noring. Noring fires that out to the left for a leadoff single. Rounds big at first, ball gets in quickly, but Noring well struck and laces it out into left. That's the start you need if you're the Tigers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that's huge for ADM to kind of, be able to drive a softball somewhere where there's not a Mustang player. That's they've hit the softball pretty well the last couple of times up, and just hit it to the ladies in gray. Haven't been able to find any openings, any gaps, but really solid piece of hitting there to start that off.
Especially from the 7-hole hitter. Nothing better than getting some life there. Ella Smith showed bunt on her first pitch that she saw from Jones. She pops that up second base. Montag under and out number 1.
Yeah, good to see Jones come back, find it out. That's a huge out for DCG. Kept the runner. Not a lot of times in softball can a ball be in play and you're going to keep that runner at first base. Pop up in the infield, which she has done a couple of times today, is exactly how you do that.
Talari lays down the bunt, tries to beat it out at first, and now stuck in no man's land. Diving back to second is Noring. Noring took a big round on second as I think everyone got a little caught off guard by Talari diving for first base there, and fortunately for the Tigers, Noring gets back to second, but the sacrifice bunt at least advances Noring into a scoring position for the leadoff batter and Elliot Von Roden.
And I think for Talari, there was 2 things. There was a lot of things going on. I think there was 2 things that she was trying to do. Obviously, the dive was an attempt to be safe there. You always want to get on base. But also, like you said, I think her dive into first base there also was to kind of maybe throw people off to be able to try to move that runner to third base. Almost worked out for him.
Good fundamentals there by Coach Miracle's squad on the defensive side for DCG. Everyone stayed right where they needed to be. That's flared out into left. Diving stab out in left. What a catch by Jenna Morrison.
That was scoring a run. If that ball falls, that run scores from second base because the left fielder's on the ground and it's 2 outs, so you're running on contact. I mean, we'll watch this one again here.
Absolute this one looks like it's dropping square into no man's land. Jenna Morrison lays out fully for it. And those are the plays you dream of as a kid growing up. You're like, I want to be in the state title. I want to make the diving grab. Morrison lives it out. That's out number 3. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base for the Tigers as we go to the home half of 5 with DCG due up on the Girls Union Network.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Back at Iowa Central Field here in Fort Dodge in the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. And Sophia Baumann up. Got a 1-1 count so far. Found one back. Took a ball. And no outs. Little cutter there. Flared out of play. Baumann, the shortstop for DCG. Got on an error in the third inning, which swing and a miss. It's in the dirt, throw down good. And Hagedorn gets her third strikeout of the day.
What a nasty pitch there from Hagedorn. That just dropped out. It almost looked like a 12-6 baseball curve there. I mean, that thing, the floor just came out of it.
J.C. Jamison now. When you watch it too, the release point's the same as her fastball and her rise ball. It's just so hard to read it out of the hand, especially if you're thinking she's bringing some heat. She brings it. The 0-1. That'll catch a corner for strike two. Jamison sacrificed bunt in the third. DCG doesn't have a problem trying to play small ball, but it's the long ball that's got them up 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike three. Back-to-back Ks for Hagedorn. Hagedorn wheeling and dealing right now.
Yeah, and just picking her spots really, really well. She's hitting her spots. You know, as a pitcher, sometimes you can pick them and say, hey, this is what I want to do with the softball. Sometimes the softball doesn't always cooperate with what we want to do with it, but just picking her spots, hitting her spots really, really well.
The sophomore has been really sharp today overall as she gets Delaney Fetters. Gets a little smile there on the ball in the dirt.
Yeah, of course, Fetters has one job here, get on base for Jenna Gray, who's up next.
And she does. That ball deep in the hole, and no doubt about it, as Fetters gets across on the slow dribbler under the glove. That's an infield single by my ruling.
Yeah, that will be a hit. And you saw her, she tried to lay one down the pitch before that, just trying to get herself on base.
I'm sorry, I said Hagedorn was a sophomore, junior. But here's Gray, who's had the one-run blast back in the first, going opposite field. She takes strike one.
Yeah, as we talked about before, 18th home run of the season. I know it was kind of a little friendly competition between her and her brother this year of who could hit the most home runs, and she's dominating that category so far this year.
Might need a family home run derby as Gray
yes.
dribbles that one foul for strike two, and Hagedorn has to like where she's at, working ahead.
Brother hit 12 home runs this year on the baseball diamond.
Crazy stat there.
Before being drafted 86th overall in the Major League draft.
Iowa's had a handful of draft picks over the last decade. Gray will lay off that one. Runner goes. She's in safely. Is Fetters. Fetters in scoring position now, and I like that call there. If she gets tagged out, you get another at bat for Gray.
Yep.
Really no harm on it.
Yeah, and Gray had an 0-2 count at the point of that as well. So yeah, you get a fresh count for Gray next inning.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Hagedorn sits down all three back-to-back strikeouts. I'm sorry, sits down 3 of 4 with 3 strikeouts off the one hit by Delaney Fetters. She's left on base, but no runs come across for DCG as we go to the top of the 6th with ADM next on the Girls Union Network.
Miss Frank. Frank. Mr. Frank. And just what you did now, I think you're the best ever.
In your neighborhood, there's a place so good. It's so nice to be part of Storyland for me. The feeling of family, you have to agree.
Wow, thanks, Fairy Frank.
Welcome to Fairway, your fairy family.
Welcome back here with you live on the Girls Union Network, powered by the Mid-American Energy Company. As we hit the top of the sixth, the 1-0 game leaning the 4-seed Dallas Center Grimes way against the 5-seed and ADM. Tigers 4 hits thus far, no runs to show for it. That ball lifted high, hard, and kiss it goodbye, Lauren Hagedorn.
You know it's been on her mind since Jenna Gray hit one out, the first at-bat for Gray, and Hagedorn comes back and says, here, I'm just going to make this an even softball game.
No time like the present for Hagedorn, who hits that bomb deep out of the park in left. Extra base hits in today's game brought to you by Channel Seeds, the enhanced Channel Seed brand, here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. And Lauren Hagedorn rising to the occasion there. And we have a brand new softball game here in Fort Dodge.
8th home run of the season for Hagedorn, and just lifts that one out into left field.
Kinsey Maxwell will pop that one up. Bauman handles at short for out number 1. And just like Hagedorn did it in the circle back in the first, Jones does a nice job coming back in and out right away.
Yeah, and for Bauman, good grip on that softball too. That ball was on the edge of her glove. Again, a really tough play for her as a shortstop. Turning it around, almost playing it like an outfielder there. And that ball was moving around the glove, but did a great job of squeezing it into that glove. That's what they always say. That's why we say two hands, to those back at home. Coaches, both these coaches, very fundamentally sound coaches. You can see that from their teams. And that's why we use two hands.
Jones will leave that out of the zone to James. And just to be clear, the Fetters hit was ruled an error, it would appear.
Okay. Yep, you're right.
So that one shocked me a little bit half inning ago, but it is what it is. And we sit with a 2-1 count. But again, everything that's happened up to this point outside of the Jenna Gray home run really is moot. And the energy, you can feel it just flip halves of the field.
Yeah, and we knew we were going to be treated to a good softball game. We talked about it before we came on the air. As I mentioned, I've been talking with some really smart softball people today about this game, and I think everybody had this one coming into this. This is the type of game we were going to see.
Full count, 1 out. Here to Maddie James. James lifts it high. Caught near the dugout by Gray. There's out number 2. Kennedy Stanford, the designated player, now up. She's 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout, flew out to center. See if she can spark a 2-out rally for the Tigers as they try and what would be a bracket upset, but certainly both these teams worthy of an advancement.
Oh, yeah.
Lays off that up in the zone.
Yeah, I don't think either of these teams coming out of this game would be a surprise.
Again, their first meeting since 2023. They're only 20 miles apart, maybe. That one stays out of the zone as well. 2-0 count.
The other thing that I don't think would surprise people either is if we play a 9 or more inning softball game today.
Yeah.
I don't know if 7's going to be enough for these two, but we'll see.
Not with the way they're pitching, but one mistake changes the entirety of this game. As there's a strike into Stanford. Nothing better than a extra innings brunch ball. That ball fouled back. Strike 2 here to Stanford on the changeup. Again, this is a DCG team too. Very young, sophomore-laden roster. This is great experience, win, lose, draw today. But you know that they don't want to be sent home by this Tigers squad.
100%.
Jones 2-2. That'll stay up around the hands for ball 3, full count.
Yeah, I think that's well said there. I think Dallas Center Grimes obviously coming in, got a lot of most of these girls returning in the future, but a bunch of young girls that didn't come here to not make a run at the title.
That'll catch a corner, strike 3. But we have a 1-1 ball game. The leadoff home run by Lauren Hagedorn has us knotted up as we go to the home half of 6. It'll be Addie Abens due up when we come back.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
We're back here at the Iowa Central Field. 1-1 softball game, the 5-4 matchup. ADM knots it up off the Lauren Hagedorn homer. Out to left, Dallas Center Grimes now looking to rebuttal in the home half of 6. Addie Abens leading off the center fielder. So far today, 0 for 2. Hagedorn brings the heat. Think she's juiced up a bit?
Yeah, I think so. And for Dallas Center Grimes, this is one of those situations now where, you can put one across. Hey, we just need, Jones to come out and find 3 outs, which will be tough against ADM. But that's kind of what your mindset is right now for DCG is, let's get one on base. Let's move her around in a scoring position and bring that one run across. Let's find 3 outs and let's advance.
Coach Miracle knows how to mix it up. We saw plenty of variation in his time at Johnston. There's a swing and a miss by Abens, and boy, oh boy, is Hagedorn dialed.
Yeah, and what I was saying there obviously is good in theory.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Correct.
But it is a packed house around this ballpark. 1-2, that's popped up. Underneath it is Von Roden. Can of corn for her for out number 1.
It is tough when that ball, look at the flag between these two fields. It is moving. The wind is definitely swirling around this field. So one of those, easy pop-ups, we call them easy easy for us here in the booth, but definitely not for those that are underneath that softball.
The number goes to Von Roden again.
That one's actually probably a little bit easier, even though it's going to get to the ground a lot quicker because it's not getting so high up into that swirling wind. You just got to get to it quicker.
Has a lot of English on it, so
Yep.
Squeeze it extra tight. But Von Roden has made it look easy over there much of the day today. Genevieve York, third base.
And the smile on Hagedorn's face, we've seen that throughout the entire game, is, obviously it's a game. She's a competitor. She wants to win. But just having a ton of fun, you could tell.
Bring some heat in there for strike 1. The only thing I'm going to request the union adds the next year is a radar gun. I want to know some speeds here.
Yeah.
But especially with the quality of pitchers we get out here. My partner didn't flinch at all at that one as that was fouled back to the netting.
Nope. I stood in there and watched it come right at my face.
He was ready for it. I'm impressed. The 1-2 popped up. Shortstop handling, no problem for Smith. And 1-2-3 go the Mustangs as we go to the top of the 7th. Knotted up at 1 a pop on the Girls Union Network, powered by MidAmerican Energy Company.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present the state softball tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders. It's a reason to do more and be more. and it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on an outstanding softball season. And remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
We're back here at Iowa Central Field. Again, a big thank you to Iowa Central for being one of our field sponsors this season. Just a reminder, thanks again to the Iowa Farm Bureau for presenting the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships as sole title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Iowa Farm Bureau honors both academic and athletic excellence, helping to nurture the next generation of Iowa leaders. McKenna Pitlick due up 1 for 2, had a single in the second, struck out in the fourth. Swing and a miss. And right now you see the aggressiveness from ADM at the plate. They're not sitting back anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly, because, basically we were just saying on the side of DCG, now that's in the court of ADM. Let's get one on, move her around, maybe a little small ball, put one across, and then try to find a couple of quick outs and try to advance.
Tessa Jones with the changeup completely fooled Pitlick. Well outside the zone, seeing if she'll chase. She does not. 1-2. McKenna Pitlick, just a sophomore. Again, you mentioned it. She'll sub in as a pitcher as well occasionally. That'll stay outside the zone. Ball 2.
Yeah, and they may use Pitlick at some point, but the way Hagedorn is pitching right now, I would assume that throughout this tournament, it's just going to be a lot of Hagedorn.
That ball fouled straight back. It would take a crisis, I think, for Hagedorn to get pulled in the state tournament, but Pitlick is certainly formidable in the circle too.
Yeah, 14-4 season for Pitlick this year. A 2.13 ERA and 62 strikeouts.
Swing and a miss. Jones gets her to swing. And there's another K for Jones today.
We talked about fundamentals. One thing, and ADM's on the side of them, they're doing it as well too. But the aggression that Dallas Center Grimes, watch the infielders every single pitch. Every single pitch, it's as soon as that ball is released from the pitcher, it's heavy up, jump stop, and we're on the toes of our feet. We're ready to go wherever that ball is. We're not taking a pitch off, and that's a big thing for Dallas Center Grimes.
The 0-1. Jones gets her to swing and a miss, strike 2.
Because as soon as you take a pitch off from being ready for it, that's what's going to come to you. It's the infielders, the outfielders, every single pitch, it's in a couple steps and a jump stop, and we're on the toes of our feet. We're ready to go.
Change up, popped up, handled there by Gray.
And that just helps them be ready, athletically wherever we're going with it. When we're moving and we're jump stopping, we're not starting when we have to go catch a ball like that down the first base side. We're not starting from zero. We're starting from already have some momentum going forward, and it just helps us get to balls quicker, be more athletic.
That ball will stay up to Ellis Smith for ball 1. Smith 1 for 2. Single back in the second. Popped out to second in the fifth. You're absolutely right. And right now the stakes are not higher, so a mental lapse is the last thing any team wants to see. And I don't think any team wants to win on necessarily a mental lapse.
The other thing that some people might be wondering, okay, so you look at short and second, a little bit more movement from them than you see out of first and third, and that's just because they have so much more ground to cover, right? So third and first, we're covering less ground, and some of the ground that we are covering is going to be in foul territory. But for second and short, we just have so much ground to cover. We really got to be ready to go.
3-0 count. I'd assume a take here. That'll be outside the zone, and we do have a base runner on now as Ellis Smith sees 4 straight balls and will trot to first.
The good news is for Dallas Center Grimes is tough for, obviously we can't have a sacrifice bunt with 2 outs, right? So it's tough. I mean, we can still lay down a bunt, but we got to try to beat that bunt out. So it's going to be a bunt for a hit rather than sacrifice, which is completely different. We're going to maybe try to take that one down the third base side rather than the first base side when we're buttoning for a hit, or maybe in the middle between the pitcher and the catcher also is a really good spot. Tough for both pitcher, catcher, or third baseman to come up and make that play. So, we'll see what ADM decides to do here.
Anderson Talari up, center fielder for the Tigers.
Has good speed.
Has great speed. Sack bunt back in the 5th. Flew out to center back in the 2nd.
And she almost beat that one out too. So didn't show anything on the first pitch. Could maybe try to put one down, but also can swing away as well.
That'll be right down the heart of the plate for strike 1. Talari's now seen a couple.
Does have 31 hits this year, 13 RBIs, 6 doubles, a triple. Does have 1 home run this season for Talari.
That'll pop up. York back towards the fence, and that will fall just in. That's a really tough play. No warning track around the fence, and so it's really a feel-it-out process while trying to monitor the ball.
Yeah, and good hustle there at short as well. Ballman making the chase at it.
But Talari will live to fight another pitch or two here with a 1-2 count. Tessa Jones has been sharp today. 5 strikeouts for her. The 1-2. That's popped up once again. Gray, that's going to be just on top of the dugout. And Talari keeps the battle alive. Haven't caught a score from the other diamond, the Channel Seeds diamond. But we've got a good one here. 1-2, strike 3. As Jones sits down Talari to get out of a little mini jam there and keep it 1-1. DCG will try and walk it off in the home half of 7 when we come back on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present the state softball tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders. It's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on an outstanding softball season. And remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
And I know all eyes are on this diamond here with a 1-1 game between number 5 ADM and number 4 Dallas Center Grimes, but we do have an upset already in Class 4A. Pella takes down Cedar Rapids Xavier. I believe it was an 8-1 matchup, and it was. Pella, the Dutch, knock off top-seeded Xavier to advance to the semifinals on Wednesday. The winner of this one will get the Dutch.
Yep.
That is a stunner, 5-1 over there. What a dandy we've had so far to lead things off here in Fort Dodge. Up and on the hands, swing and a miss by Addison Lidden.
And that just shows how good Class 4A is. It's always like that. You often will see 7, 8s, 5 seeds in state championships here in Class 4A. You're rarely seeing 1 versus 2 in the Class 4A final.
1-1 count. Hagedorn delivers. That's going to drift outside the zone for ball 2.
ADM was a 4 seed, playing in the final last year.
Again, they were not far away from a victory either against that Carlisle team who came back and won it.
Yeah, and these teams know each other really well. Looking at this 4A, obviously Norwalk is so familiar. Battling conference, battling for a conference championship as well. And
a 2-2 shot up the middle, bobbled at shortstop. The throw is in time, just by a half a step. Lidden is out after the great throw by Ellis Smith. Smith sticks with it, gets the out at first, and 1 away. Another look at it. I think the throw beat her by a half step. You look for that bang-bang play. It's a tough call on that angle. But out number 1. It was close. Tessa Jones, the pitcher now for DCG, swing and a miss for her. She's been sharp in the circle, as is Hagedorn. Hagedorn will drift that one well up and away.
Yeah, big first out for ADM, keeping runners off the base paths, knowing that any mistake here,
change up will drop in,
will allow DCG to win this game. So
1-2 count. That was a beautiful changeup by Hagedorn too. Kept Jones guessing, and Jones working behind now. Here's the 1-2 on the way. Rise ball gets her to cut at it. Jones goes down swinging for out number 2.
Yeah, I think Jones knew it right away too, and just such a good pitch there from Hagedorn. That ball looks like it's coming right down the middle. It's, as a batter, you're like, all right, here we go.
Juicy.
I'm driving this one. And then you swing and you're like, oh.
6 strikeouts now on the day for Hagedorn, and she delivers another strike there to Sophia Baumann. Baumann 0 for 2, or 0 for 1, got on an error in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th. Jamison on deck, the designated player. 0-1, that's lined out into center. Nothing to worry about though, as Aniston Talari got underneath it, made the catch, and we're gonna head to extras. Why wouldn't we here in the 5-4 matchup? We'll be back with the top of the 8th next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
It'll be the top of the order for the ADM Tigers as we are now in extra inning territory. Elliot Von Roden, Lauren Hagedorn, who has the 1 run across the plate for the Tigers tonight, the home run back in the 6th. And then Kinsey Maxwell in the cleanup spot, or I'm sorry, in the 3-hole. And DCG and Tessa Jones going to keep trying to work through it here.
Yeah, I think this is what ADM, or this is what you're hoping for here. You got top of the order, and
Von Roden shows bunt, pulls back as that rise ball gets up and out.
And Von Roden with such good speed, we've seen her athleticism. So if ADM can get her on base, then it's just about moving her around. How do we move her around? What's the best strategy?
That'll be a strike right through the heart of the plate for a 1-1 count. The slap hitter today, 1 for 3, had a single back in the 1st. Threw out to center and left. She drifts that one out of play.
That's what makes her a little tough as well as an infield, because yes, most of the time she's slapping it, but she also, she could lift one of those little bloopers that we've seen over the top of a cutting. It hit her in the box. Oh no, it hit her out of the box.
Outside of the box, and she is out. Nothing. She kind of gave an eye roll there. She knew it. Just hoping not to get caught. That's a great call by our home plate umpire and Deidre Moore.
Yeah, because if that makes contact with her in the box, it's just a foul ball. But once she's out of the box, you're out.
Coach Miracle coming out with his pitching coach and Claudia Farrell. Farrell had a great career, if I recall, at Grandview. She's a Dowling Catholic graduate as well. I believe it's the same one.
And that's nice as a coach. Even with a coach that has as much experience, a Hall of Fame coach already inducted into the Hall of Fame for Coach Miracle, you got to have, you can't do it yourself. Same we were talking about pitcher and catcher. You can't have a really good pitcher without having a catcher. And I'm sure if you talk to Coach Miracle and you ask him about that, I mean, his staff is so talented in their knowledge of the game and to be able to help him out. As a head coach, you can't see or be everywhere at once, right? So it's nice to have those coaches around you.
Farrell was an all-stater at Dowling, had a great career at Grandview, have confirmed. One out. Lauren Hagedorn up, had the home run in her last at bat. Jones going to be cautious here. We also don't want to just put her on base with just one out. The 1-0. That's a great pitch, low and away, but in the strike zone for strike one.
Yeah, and as pitchers, obviously why we're having those conversations is because, so far there's been 2 swings of bats that have been differences in this game. And so it could be a one swing of a bat here for either team. Could be the difference in advancing and a chance to play in the semifinals or not.
The 1-1 lifted out into right. Fetters is there, and she'll haul it in for out number 2.
Just got a bit under that one. And on a pitch that was a little bit outside. That's what we were talking about earlier with those outside pitches as pitchers. Because when you do make good contact on those outside pitches, you're not usually able to get enough on it to be able to drive it somewhere. And that's what happened to Hagedorn there, is she made really good contact, but the pitch so far outside, she was reaching for it. Just unable to get a good contact on it.
Kinsey Maxwell, sliding grab out in left, and back-to-back highlight plays for Jenna Morrison.
Man, oh man, she's having a day out there.
Morrison hasn't had an at-bat today, but she's been impactful on the defensive end. Diving grab a couple of innings ago, makes the sliding snag there, and we head tied 1-1 to the home half of 8 next. Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present the state softball tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders. It's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on an outstanding softball season. And remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
DCG gets 1, 2, 3 out of ADM. Now it's their turn. It'll be J.C. Jamison, the designated player, due up with Delaney Fetters on deck and Jenna Gray in the hole. Gray had the home run back in the first. We'll see if we get to her. J.C. Jamison 0 for 2 tonight, or 0 for 1 with the sac bunt and a strikeout. She takes ball 1 there.
Who's going to flinch?
We will, yes. That ball fired right back at us here behind home plate.
Timing is everything.
It really is. Jamison this season been a high-quality hitter. 358. Fires it right back up. Hagedorn fields and throws over. Out number 1 on the 1-3 putout. That'll bring us to Delaney Fetters. Fetters had a hit back in the 5th. I believe they ruled it an error. I think it was E5 technically. Had a sacrifice back in the 3rd and then a strikeout in the 1st. Any way you get on here, it's a win in Coach Miracle's book. That ball up in the zone. She fouls it well out of play.
We've seen, one walk so far today?
I think it's one intentional walk, yes. Maybe 2.
Oh, yeah, 1 intentional. We did have that. We had 1 traditional walk as well.
1 traditional walk. It was 4 straight balls. That'll catch a corner for strike 2. Everyone on their toes just waiting for those calls. And the 0-2.
Yeah, both pitchers filling up the strike zone. Love to see it.
Hagedorn gets her to offer. That's fouled back. Fetters this year, again, 407 batting average. She gets on base nearly 50% of the time. Her OBP, 464. Sits on it, fired down to third. What a stab by Noring.
Wow.
That's one of those you don't even have time to think about what you do. It's just natural instinct.
Just straight instinctual there for Noreen. And I love the stoic look from her right after she catches that. Her immediate thought was she caught it, and she looked right back at her pitcher, with that stone cold killer look to her there at the third base.
Now
Wow,
you
what a
wonder
play.
here if ADM says, let's just put Gray on base and deal with it.
Maybe, but Hagedorn is one of those competitors that I could see her saying, "Hey, I want to go after her, right? Hey, best on best here."
She did strike her out in the last plate appearance back in the 5th. Gray also has a walk and that home run. That has us knotted at 1.
And it is going to be, it's just best on best, pure power on power.
That's what you love about the sport. Hagedorn will leave that out of the zone.
And this is exactly what both of these two, Jenna Gray is not going to the plate, hoping she gets intentionally walked. And Lauren Hagedorn, she doesn't want to walk.
Says, let me see what she can do. Hagedorn's 1-0, gets her to swing at the rise ball. That thing just absolutely rifled in. It's mano-a-mano right now. No one else on the field really matters until that ball's made contact with.
Yeah, and honestly, the scoreboard says 1-1, but it's technically 1-1 between these two as well.
The changeup across the heart had Gray guessing. You gotta imagine some speed coming back with another. I'd go a rise ball up and away.
Yeah, it's either going to be high or it's going to be low.
But not right in the middle.
No.
The
Nothing
1-2. Foul back, rise ball up.
It was up with it. She's gone up with a couple of them here. Would maybe like to see her find the bottom half of the zone. Even Gray is making contact with the pitch at the bottom half of the zone. A lot of times it's going to be on the ground or maybe a sharp line drive somewhere, but nothing hurt with a sharp line drive somewhere.
Pull a string here on a changeup possibly. No, she brings the heat. Another strikeout. It was mano-a-mano. Hagedorn stares down Gray, and we'll go to the top of the 9th, still tied at 1 with Maddie James due up for the Tigers. We'll be right back on the Girls Union Network, powered by the Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
We march on to the top of the 9th. Tigers have their 4, 5, 6 hitters due up with Maddie James, Kennedy Stanford, and McKenna Pitlick. James so far today, 0 for 3, struck out in the 1st, flew out to right and pop up to 1st in the 6th. And we'll sit here in the 9th. That ball straight back. Again, Pella knocks off Xavier 5-1. Pella will get the winner of this one. That ball hit hard out to the gap and left. That's going to be a double for for Maddie James. She slides in safely with the leadoff double.
We talked about this before. Maddie James is the 5-year senior leader of this team, 5-year letter winner. She's been on all 5 of the state tournament teams in the last 5 straight years for ADM. She's hit some balls pretty well today, but they've been right at. We kind of knew that, James is somebody we haven't talked about as much in this broadcast, but definitely, one of the better at the plate for ADM this season. And, great players make their impact in big moments, and that's what James did right there.
The left fielder fired one into the gap in left center, and a reminder, extra base hits today Brought to you by Channel Seeds, the enhanced Channel Seed brand, here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Just 3 multi-base hits today, 2 of them home runs, but none bigger right now than maybe Maddie James's double. That's popped up, or dribbled foul, sorry. It looked like a pop-up, but it took a high hop off the turd, and that's just going to be a foul ball to Kennedy Stanford. Stanford 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, and a fly out to center.
And, of course, really cool moment for the Stanford family.
That's popped up back to the netting. Now Stanford going to be forced to swing.
With Kennedy, of course, playing for her mom, who's got a big smile on her face down the third base side. Lindsay Stanford, who is a really good softball player herself, started at North Scott.
Just looked at her daughter and said, breathe.
Yep.
Like this, it's a game, right? And I think at the end of the day, have some fun with it, enjoy the moment, embrace it on the 0-2. Stanford hits it. It's going to be caught out in right and brought back in. Nice job by Fetters to make the play and get the throw in immediately. No advancement by James.
Yeah, good job by James. You know, that's one of those when that ball's in the air, as base runners, we're going, you know, halfway, depending on our speed, halfway, 3/4 of the way, you know, and we're going to watch it come in. And as soon as we see that ball is going to be caught, we're immediately dead sprint back to the base to make sure there's no chance at a double up. You know, if that ball gets dropped, of course, we want to be, you know, off the bag 3/4 to halfway. That way we're going to score in that instance most of the time. For James, but really good fun. You know, I think base running is one of those things that sometimes we don't talk about as much, but you know, is one of the biggest parts of this game. Is sometimes you can steal a run by really good base running, and to that same point, sometimes you know your team is poised for a really big inning, but a couple of base running errors, and all of a sudden, you know, we lose a potential at a big inning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to. Again, we've talked about the mental side of being in the field, right? You don't want a mental error. You're on your toes. You don't want to leave a bag too early on a steal. You don't want to do these little things that, I mean, you haven't been in a better scoring position than what we've seen right now from this ADM team. They had 2 on earlier in this game, but no one's gotten past second base other than the home run. That ball's struck down the line to third. Pitlick delivers in the biggest moment. James going to come in to score. Pitlick slides into second. The RBI double puts the Tigers up 2-1.
And just a great piece of hitting when we see this. Just found the spot perfectly. That ball hits in fair territory and then darts out into the foul territory. A beautiful linear swing. Just a really good piece of hitting there for Pitlick.
One thing the Tigers haven't done this inning is sit back. You know, we've seen them take some pitches here or there. They've now been jumping out on Jones. And that ball was absolutely laced down the third baseline and into the corner. And you knew James was going to be coming around the second that touched it in fair territory. So a 2-1 game. Tigers leading, still threatening. Pitlick's on second. Noring takes strike 1.
Yeah, there's still just 1 out. So, I mean, this could be a potential for ADM here to add on some runs. Obviously, they know how important these runs are. 1-run lead, you know, bringing DCG back up into the bottom half of the 9th is nothing to be excited about.
That ball hit high and hard, just foul. That one, she was on it, was Aubrey Noring. Yeah, Coach Stanford giving her just a big smile and a head shake, like, you got it. You know where it's at.
Noring crushed that softball.
Had a hit back in the 5th.
Has not homered yet this year.
Sits on it, shoots it the other way. Hard hit ball. She's going to beat the throw to first. Now runners on the corners. That was a hard one to handle for Montag at second.
Yeah, runners on the corners, and quickly Noring's going to be at second base. She won't be at first base very long. And obviously that's exactly what DCG, good job, good leadership here by DCG, bringing everybody in to talk about, okay, what are we going to do? Likely, you know, she's going to take off from first with 1 out, because if that ball goes to second base, you know, we're obviously bringing in the runner from third. pretty quickly with good speed over there at third base. So that's probably what the conversation is right now is, hey, what are we doing when that runner takes off? We know she's not staying at first base.
Ruled that a hit. Forgot to mention, too, on the on the McKenna Pitlick hit. Extra base hits brought to you by Channel C. Runners on the corner, 2-1 game, still 1 out. ADM trying to inflict some more pain. Trying to coax the run down is Aubrey Noring. It's a 1-0 count, though. And Aniston Talari on deck before they make the turn to the top half of the order once again. 8 hits total for the Tigers today. Here's the 1-0. That's going to stay down around the ankles for ball 2. Of course, I don't know that ADM's seen a ton of Pello this season if you start to look ahead a little bit, but got to get through this. 2-0. That'll catch the kneecaps for strike 1. Reason I say that, ADM in the Raccoon River Conference. DCG, of course, in the Little Hawkeye, or was at one point with Pella. Still believe they both are.
Yep, they are.
All the conference shuffling over the years. That ball popped up out into center. Runner likely going to try and tag. We're going to get a throw at the plate. Hauled in by Abens. Abens' throw not in time as it's cut off, and another run comes in to score as Pitlick slides in safe.
Yeah, that's a huge run for ADM. That is just big insurance. And still with the runner on first base, ADM might not be done here. Really, the only thing that was going to keep the runner from moving at third base would be, likely a strikeout. So
anything to the corners likely too. That ball's popped up into left, drifting back towards the fence, and it dropped out in left. Another run's going to come in to score for ADM, and that's Noring. Makes it a 3-4-1 game. Tough play towards the fence out there in left.
Yeah, that ball just kept carrying and carrying. I actually, for a second, was thinking that ball, that's where the wind is blowing, straight out there into left field. So that ball just kept carrying and carrying. It's tough.
That's Talari now, who stands at second. She's got some speed.
And that's why we run on 2 outs, because you just never know. Some people are like, oh, she's going to catch this. You might slow up a little bit. That's why you got to be sprinting on those 2 outs.
And Jenna Morrison has made some incredible plays out there in left tonight as Von Roden takes another ball.
Oh, yeah, she's saved probably 2 runs so far out there in left field. Has really had a solid day.
So we sit 4-1. Von Roden takes strike 2. She was out back in the 8th after chopping a ground ball that hit her outside of the box. So a 1-2 count. Tigers with the lead. That one will hop into the dirt. Sliding into third is Talari, and another run threatening. And this is where things have to tighten up a bit for DCG defensively.
Yeah. Yeah, every run's so crucial now. Every run given up is one that we'll have to get back in 1 inning.
The 2-2. That's flared out into left. Morrison there makes the catch. Out number 3. But 3 hits lead to 3 runs. 1 left on base. ADM with a 4-1 lead going to the home half of 9. It's do or die for the Mustangs here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present the state softball tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders. It's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on an outstanding softball season. And remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
Welcome back here to Iowa Central Diamond in Fort Dodge in the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. And due up is Addie Abens, Kaylee Montag, and then Genevieve York are the next three due up. And Abens, Montag, and York combined 0 for 9 today. The good news, though, same situation was just said for ADM going into that 9th inning, and they came away with 3 runs. It has to start, though, with a leadoff. Big at bat here for Abens, who can swing the stick.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And that's the other thing is, obviously not the day they've wanted so far, but that's the middle part of the order. I mean, if I'm a coach, if I'm a team, I will take the middle part of my order in a crucial situation anytime, whether they're 0 for 25 or 25 for 25.
Abens took ball 1 there. Hagedorn delivers. That's going to stay down a little low for ball 2. Any way on's a good way on.
Yeah. And that's good patience for Abens to start off this at bat. She's not, speeding things up and saying, okay, I have to get on. I got to swing the bat at everything. No, she's just being patient and taking it as a normal at bat. It's not a normal at bat. This is probably the biggest at bat for her this season. And so far, she's treated it like it's a random Wednesday evening, playing, a random game.
Just a sophomore once again. She'll lay off that one as that stays low and in.
Yeah, good eye. That was
Hagedorn's been living low in this at bat. She's done her homework on Abens. So a 3-1 count. This is a hitter's count right here as it's delivered. Hagedorn will live right where she's lived the last 4 pitches. That one just above the kneecaps for strike 2.
Yeah, full count now. Who's going to win this first battle?
The shoes are off for the student section over there in ADM. The payoff. Swing and a miss, strike 3 for Abens. Hagedorn's 7th strikeout of the day.
Big first out for ADM. 2 outs away from the semifinals, a return to the semifinals.
Montag still looking for her first hit today. Slides it into center. That'll drop in. Go around first, and she delivers on the spot.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there for Montag as well. You can't tie this game. You can't win this game for your team with one swing of the bat down by 3 runs. So just a nice, easy swing. Let's get a base hit. Let's just start a rally. And that's exactly what she did there.
Genevieve York now up. Third baseman. Strikeout, fly out, and a ground out as that comes across the dish for strike 1. On deck, Addison Lidden. The 0-1. That's muscled out into left, and she's aboard with the single. Back-to-back singles have DCG with the tying run at home.
Just like that, tying run at the plates. And for ADM now, it's, hey, we'll trade an out for a run here. That's what ADM's mindset's got to be. If they can get an out somewhere, we would trade outs for runs up by 3 here.
Hayden Smith is going to pinch run in this spot after York's single. Smith just a sophomore as well.
All right, we got the lineup cards all adjusted.
That's going to be on the inside part of the plate here to Addison Lidden. Catcher today. Had a hit back in the 4th. She took ball 1. That'll stay outside the zone. Ball 2.
Good eye. That was actually a pretty good spot there for Hagedorn, but just better eyes watching that one in for Lidden.
Jones on deck now. That ball fouled off. Strike one. One out still.
Good job by Maxwell. One thing that I caught, some of you viewers at home might have caught as well, is right before that pitch was thrown, Maxwell took her hand and started just pushing towards the batter, trying to tell Hagedorn, hey, let's come inside with this one.
That one fired off to the right side. Von Roden handles, and there's out number 2. It's going to have to be a 2-out rally, but the runners do advance.
Yeah.
Tying run at the plate.
And if you're ADM, that you're loving that. That's awesome. In this situation with up by 3, we are not worried about runners at first and third. Those runners could score. We do not care about the runners at second and third. We're going to take it out and just not be worried about them. The only run that we care about that matters right now is at the plate.
And, of course, Lauren Hagedorn, the pitcher for ADM, tied this game up at 1 in the 6th, sent it to extras. Tessa Jones would love to return the favor here in the 9th.
Yes. And how fitting to have Jones coming up to the plate here as the potential tying run for DCG.
2 outs. Jones, swing and a miss. Strike 1. The 0-1 now from Hagedorn. That's fired foul for strike 2, working well out in front now.
Final strike here for DCG. Got to protect the plate. We want the final strike to be in our hands as a batter.
Hagedorn, 0-2. Lifts it, Jones lifts it out into right, caught and brought in. ADM advancing 4-1 on the fly out to right as the Tigers knock off the 4 seed in DCG in an absolute dandy of a game.
What a game to start. Welcome to the IGHSAU Softball Championships. What a fun way to start.
7 strikeouts for Hagedorn. She contributes with a home run of her own. 3 runs in the 9th. Ultimately put this one away for the Tigers, who will move on to Wednesday's semifinal and take on the 8th seed in the Pella Dutch. Any final departing thoughts from you, partner?
Just fun softball. I mean, that's all we ask for is, coming into this game, we don't care who wins, but what we do care about is having a really, really fun softball game. That's what everybody's here for. Everybody's here for fun. You saw Hagedorn and Jones, every time they were in the circle, they were smiling and laughing. And I know now it's, smiles on one side will be a little sadness on the other side, but still, going out, having this kind of a game to start off with is a real treat to start the tournament.
Tip of the cap to Tessa Jones today as well. 7 strikeouts for her. Just, again, ADM with the timely hitting in the 9th, and that's how this one wraps up. Again, the Tigers get the win, 4-1 over the DCG Mustangs. We'll turn it over for the official presentation there as you see them advance on the board, and it's been a fun one here. Again, you're watching the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network, powered by the Mid-American Energy Company. We'll catch you for the next game here in Class 4A, due up in just a bit.